Okay, we are going to finish up the bodice today. I've done, make sure I don't hit the camera. I did finish the one sleeve yesterday. What I did was I just sewed it into the sleeve position, and then I did a little bit of an overlock on here. So where I'm at right now is the opposite sleeve. If you're following along on the instructions, we are at number 13 on the sleeve number 2. So once you get your sleeve in, you're going to want to look and make sure you don't have any folds or snags in the sleeve anywhere, and you want to make sure it fits nice and neatly before you do any kind of overlock in case you have to take out some of your seams. Last night I was playing with the bodice that I did on this one here. Let me see where you're at on the camera. I put in buttonholes last night so I wouldn't have to put snaps on these little stomachers. The problem I ran into is once you put the buttonholes, you're too close to the edge on the stomacher. So I think that to remedy that, if you add 1/4 of an inch on each side to your stomacher, the reason I couldn't get closer on here is, see these little feed dogs right here? You need those to get a perfect buttonhole on whatever you're putting a buttonhole in. So when I always make a buttonhole, I always make sure that the fabric gets caught under there, which if you look on your buttonhole maker, getting that fabric is right dead center where your buttonhole is going to be. So to get that extra little space you're going to need to get that stomacher on with buttons, I think you're going to have to enlarge this, because when I place my buttons inside the stomacher, inside the bodice, I was just right at the very edge. So the 2 buttons I put in were at the very edge of the inside. I tried to only sew it through the back layer of the, I did get through a couple times, but just so it wouldn't show, I tried not to do that. But you need that little bit of extra space because it's just too hard to get that stomacher buttoned in when it's so, those buttonholes are just too close to the edge. So let me show you what I mean. Oh, I have it on backwards here. So today I'll show you in the video using the green stomacher. I put 4 buttonholes in. The first side isn't hard because it's not closed up. Let me make sure you see what I see in the video. Okay, so there's the 1, here's the 2. But then when you go to do the other side of the stomacher, it's just so tight that, it's not really tight, but it's just a little bit awkward. So I think it's better if you have that little extra space, and it won't be so tight on the doll. Unless you want it tight, then you can do it that way. Another thing I would probably do with the buttons instead of the snaps, I would probably, not so much on this one, but I probably would add just a little bit higher up here, especially if it doesn't have any lace going up. But it's still a little snug, so that's why I'm thinking that that extra 1/4 of an inch on each side of the stomacher will stop this from any kind of puckering, and I think it would fit nicer, it would lay flatter. I just think all around it would be better. But if it doesn't matter though if you're just going to use snaps, because the snaps, so you can go right to the edge on the snaps. But if you do want to use this button technique, I would definitely add that 1/4 inch on each side to get those buttonholes positioned correctly. But the nice thing of this, if you do them, you can, I made this the same on either side, but if you did 2 different sides, you can change the look of your stomacher just by turning your stomacher over. So instead of the lace side, you could just do the blue or the green or the plain side and change your look just by turning over your stomacher. So anyway, that's where we're at on that little bodice. So anyway, let me go ahead and put Kyla down, and we'll get back to this outfit here. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting the camera. I'm going to have to swing it over just a little bit. Okay, so what I did was oops, I'm shaking again. What I did was, let me see if I can get, my husband tried to fix the camera stand, but it still shakes a lot. Okay, so anyway, when you're sewing on the sleeve, I usually like to sew on the side where the gathers are, but it's up to you. That's just my personal preference, but I've been told that if you put your fabric with the gathers down on the feed dogs, that you'll get a much nicer finish. So this time I'm going to go ahead and try putting it with the gathers down and see how that works on this side. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I got my regular straight stitch on. I went back to my regular thread. I forgot to change it yesterday when I sewed that other side on, but it's okay. It turned out all right. Okay, so just go ahead and lift up, go down, and let's go ahead and get this side sleeve in. Do a couple back stitches. Let me see if I can bring it around again so you can see the sewing. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make sure you get that lace out of the way like I said on the last sleeve. So if you want to do that again and just pin it down, just to make sure it doesn't get caught in anything, you can do that. It's not a sharp pin. Okay, so here we go. That first pin. Make sure it's laying down flat underneath. And like I said on that one side seam, I pushed my seams up towards the back of the bodice, so that's why you don't have any open seam there for the side seam. Whoops, I went over the needle. Okay, keep going. Stop, remove. Swing it around a little bit if you need to. I did a few, I pulled that gathering string just a little bit taut. I didn't actually gather, I just did it, I just pulled just a little bit of tightness to ease that fabric in so you didn't get any puckers or gathers. Okay, I got a little bit of one here, so let's pick up and smooth it down. Okay, here we are. Home stretch. Back up. See how it turned out. Okay, we have got something here. No, it's all right. Let's see. Okay, let's cut some of these strings. It is so windy outside. I can't believe our neighbors have their chickens out. I'm surprised they're not blowing away. But I saw them out this morning, and I think they're still out there in the backyard. They're all hunkered down out there when the wind's blowing. It's got to be 35 miles an hour out there. But they don't seem to be bothered. Okay, so let's go ahead and look and see what it looks like on the front. I can take this pin out now. We do have, yeah, well, I guess not. Looked like I got a pucker in there. If you do have a pucker, just take out that little bit of pucker that you have and then just sew over it. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Here, looks okay. It looks like a little pucker. Let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah, it's a little pucker. So I'm going to take out those couple stitches and smooth it out. Let's see, maybe I need about 3 stitches maybe, just to get it smooth. Alright, let's try that. Try to thread. Okay. Make sure that's open. Okay, let's just pick up that tiny little space there. If you're going to go through this much work to make this dress, you might as well make it look as nice as possible. Okay, backspace a couple, and let's go forward. Let's see, did we solve that problem? Yes, it's gone. Do you see that? There was a little pucker there, now it's gone. I still need to pick up that a little bit. What happened here? Okay, let's just take some of these out. Maybe it's just being held by thread. Okay, anyway, that's good enough. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a overlock stitch. So let me see where we're at on the camera. Okay, I'm still not happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this out one more time and try again to see if I can get it right. And then I'll come back and we'll finish up the bodice.